So welcome to Inspired Vinyasa. I'm Sandra, and this class is going to be a little bit more of a floor vinyasa, so we'll see where that takes us. But starting out, I want you to choose the most comfortable seated pose that you can find for your body, and then close your eyes. We're taking a nice deep inhale through the nose, big exhale through the mouth. Keeping the eyes closed, will you soften the shoulders and just slowly let the head roll its way around. We're not in any hurry. This is a very slow movement. As always, be really careful if you're taking the head back. And when you feel like bringing the head back to center, draw the shoulders up, hold them there. Take a deep inhale, hold the breath. And then when you're ready, let the breath and the shoulders go. Perfect. Take the arms all the way up. Bring the palms together and then release them home to your heart in prayer pose. We're pausing here to set a fabulous intention for the day. And when you're done, go ahead and release the hands onto the knees, palms down. We're just going to find some movement with the upper body. Remember, a vinyasa doesn't have to be an aggressive practice. Vinyasa means connecting the movement with the breath. So anytime that we're inhaling, going in one direction and exhaling in another, that's a vinyasa. And when you come back to center, we'll find our seated cat-cow. So we inhale, sit up tall. Exhale, round out the spine, drop the chin. Keep going. So for today's theme, I want to talk about something that my students and I have already talked about in class, but it's always a fabulous conversation to re-have. And that's about the Sanskrit word bodhisattva. Literally translated, it means somebody who's living in the essence of enlightenment. And a bodhisattva is somebody who is able to experience nirvana, but has chosen to come back in another life and stay here until all the suffering in the world is gone. So you can imagine right now how many bodhisattvas are pretty darn busy. But where I want to take this theme kind of is, you know, a bodhisattva, keep going with that seated cat-cow, a bodhisattva doesn't have to be, a famous deity. Like probably the most famous bodhisattva is Coyner. She is a goddess of compassion. You know, Mother Teresa is recognized as a modern day bodhisattva, so is the Dalai Lama. But I guess where I really want you to think about this theme today is in the fact that you might know a bodhisattva, you might sometimes be one, and an experience could have a compassionate element to it that would tie in with this theme. Go ahead, sit back up. Inhale the arms. Exhale to the heart. And just closing your eyes for a moment, I want you to think about not the craziness that's going on externally in our world right now, but kind of the coolness, the interesting aspects of humankind stepping forward to help one another. Like, what is the most recent example you can think of, and maybe it's just even something you saw posted on Facebook, of somebody reaching out to somebody else? And perhaps that person was you. Drop the arms. Inhale them back up. Exhale the right hand down. We're taking that side bend off to the right side. You go as low as you want to or stay as high as you want to. As long as you're working that top shoulder back, all is good. Breathe. And so some of the examples that I can think about, having seen recently on Facebook, inhale, come back up, switch the arms and take the side bend to the left, are people who have been offering to supply food and meals to other people, the neighbors who have been putting things out on their driveway for others to just come and grab for free so they have something to do in their house. A lot of businesses are offering free services. Come on back up. Sweep your way down into a fold. I find also a lot of people are reaching out that maybe you wouldn't normally hear from. And so that's kind of cool, right? Those are the good elements of, I guess, the consequences of the situation that we're in. So you could say that those people have bodhisattva tendencies, right? This element of compassion to help others. Breathe. And so you're going to find this element of compassion in today's sequence because we're staying earthy. Even though it's a vinyasa, we're staying nice and low. Go ahead and open the legs out into a V. Upavista Konasana. Yeah? Kind of wiggle onto the sit bones, flex both feet. If the hamstrings are really tight, you can add a soft bend to the knees. And then I want your left hand in front, right hand behind you. Inhale, sit up tall. Exhale, turn to that right leg, and then we'll walk our way down into a fold. Take a few breaths here. So down in my family room, I have a statue of a bodhisattva. It's made of wood. She's kind of tall. She's probably about 2 feet tall, and I just love her. The detail in the robes that she's wearing is just super elegant. And, you know, I call her a she, but it's very possible she is not. It doesn't matter, right? Go ahead, walk the hands back up. As you come through center, right hand in front of you, left hand behind, sit up tall, and then walk your way down over that left leg. But one way you can tell a bodhisattva in a picture or a statue is they usually have very elongated ears, and that represents them being able to hear all the suffering around the world. Take a deep breath. Let it go. And then go ahead and come on back up again. This time we'll take that fold center. So really get in front of the sit bones, tip the hips forward. If you can't do that, you might want to grab a prop to sit up on to the edge of, like a blanket or a throw pillow. And then we'll slowly walk our way down, and perhaps you might be able to make it to the forearms. You might be able to come lower. You might not want to. Maybe you stay right up here. Yeah? Because if our theme is compassion, you've really got to listen to your body this morning. Not only do what's right for you, but do what you want to do. Couple deep breaths. Nice. And then walk the hands back in. Gonna draw the legs in, come down onto your back. Hug the knees in when you get there. Perfect. You should feel the low back decompressing. And then we're gonna set the feet down on the mat. Knees are bent. So we're prepping here for bridge, which means that the feet are hip distance apart, unless I tell you otherwise, which I am going to in a moment. Knees are straight up toward the ceiling. Get those shoulder blades underneath you. Draw the low back down. Arms are down alongside the body, yeah? You also want to remember in poses where there's a lot of weight on your neck, which there will be when we lift our hips, that you don't want to turn your head. So initially, all we're doing is pushing the balls of the feet into the mat and slowly lifting the hips up. We're going to hold it right here. And so just because I said this is going to be an earthy practice and we're staying low, yeah, it kind of doesn't mean we're not working. So we are going to probably feel the glutes tomorrow. Just don't curse my name too much. Squeeze the glutes, lift the hips a little higher. If bridge bothers your knees, come on up onto the balls of the feet. Keep squeezing, keep squeezing. Inhale here. Exhale, slowly come back down. Inhale, take it right back up. Squeeze and hold. And remember, when you're holding the pose, you're not holding the breath. So anyway, along the lines of the Bodhisattva theme, I was remembering that, and this has to go back about, wow, how long have we had our adopted greyhounds? 4 years? 5 years? I don't know. I've lost track. Keep squeezing. I am telling you the story to distract you. Anyway, I remember walking Izzo, and it was rainy out, and it was fall, a little chilly. I remember I had rain boots on, which I don't wear that often, but I didn't want to step on all the worms that had surfaced because of the rain. Okay, exhale, come on down. Woo, hug the knees in for a moment. And so while I was walking him, I was looking down at the sidewalk to try to avoid stepping on worms. And so I had my coat hood pulled up around my face so the rain wouldn't get me. And I do recall thinking at that time how pretty the leaves were on the sidewalk. Go ahead, set the feet back down. Pull the low back down. Take the hips back up into bridge. Squeeze the glutes. Keep squeezing. Okay, we're pulsing here. Keep squeezing. You can link this with your breath if you want to, or you can try to tune out what you're feeling and just listen to the story. And at the time, I had noted in my head that I probably wouldn't have noticed the leaves on the sidewalk if it hadn't been for the rain, because I wouldn't have been looking down to avoid worms. And so the leaves were a reminder to stay present. They were also kind of a reminder of, we all turn to nature in different ways for peace. In fact, okay, hold on. Lift, squeeze, 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 squeeze. Okay, come on down, hug the knees in. Woo. You can rock that out if you need to. Often if you ask somebody, where's a peaceful place for them, they might specifically say the word nature, or they might be super specific, like the beach or the mountains or a forest, right? Because there's something about the beauty in nature that touches our inner space, our inner self. Set the feet back down, we're not done. Whew. Wiggle the feet next to each other. So you glued the feet together, glue the legs together. Imagine that, you have the household's last Twix bar between your legs and you aren't going to let anybody steal it from you. Now lift up. Keep squeezing, keep squeezing. Breathe. Breathe. Now pulse it. And so nature is a great reminder, I think, of compassion, of this idea of a bodhisattva being present always. That day I stopped in mid-walk and I decided to take off my boots and I went barefoot the rest of the way home, still looking down to carefully avoid worms, but I felt like the leaves had been such a reminder that I wanted to be fully present. I wanted to feel the ground. Yeah? Okay, lift, hold, 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 hold. All right, come on down. Woo, hug the knees into the heart. Rock it out. And so I think there are bodhisattvas all around us. It could be a person. Maybe it's your pet reminding you to be compassionate. I think whatever reminds you of the word compassion, we can definitely associate with bodhisattva. Okay. Come back to center. Set the left foot down. Let's stretch that right leg up to the ceiling. Just take a couple of deep breaths. All right, perfect. Let go of the leg. Let's interlace the hands behind the head. And then lift the head and shoulders, if that's okay with your back. If it's not, stay down. Breathe, breathe. And we're going to pulse the upper body. Don't worry, if you're thinking these are not yoga poses, we're just warming up. Keep going. Nice. Now, stay up with the upper body, let go with the hands, reach for that right foot. Maybe you can grab onto it, pull it in a little closer. Let's straighten out that left leg. That'll intensify the stretch a little bit. Nice. And then I'm going to let go of the right foot, bring the upper body down, release the arms, strong inhale. Exhale that right leg straight down to the mat. Perfect. Plant the right foot on the mat. And then go ahead and take that left leg straight up to the ceiling. We'll hold it here for a moment. And so, I don't know, perhaps that story popped into my mind about the leaves because even though we haven't really been outside, spring is evolving. And trees and bushes are showing their beautiful leaves. And it's that cycle of, birth to death that is evolving right now. And so the leaves outside can be that reminder that you need to show yourself compassion. All right, hands behind the head, lift the upper body, pulse it out. And then keep the body up, let go with the hands, reach for that left foot, grab on if you can reach it, draw that leg in closer, straighten out the right leg. We're going to bring the head and shoulders and arms back down. Strong inhale. Exhale the left leg all the way to the mat. Perfect. All right, go ahead and turn to a side for a breath in a fetal position. And then continue pushing your way up and over into table, hands and knees. So from here, go ahead and send the right leg straight out behind you. That's your inhale. Exhale, knee to heart, round the spine. Inhale, lengthen it out. Exhale, bring it in. One more. Hold it. And then stretch that leg back out again. We're going to keep the thigh parallel to the earth, but go ahead and bend at the knee. Shift the weight into the right hand. Left hand is going to reach back to find the inner sole of that foot, and then we'll lift into sunbird. Breathe. Good job. Come back to table. And then round that spine into cat and hold it right there. Neutral spine, send the left leg out behind you. Inhale. Exhale, knee to the heart. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bring it in. Inhale, hold it right there. Right hand's going to reach back to grab that foot, and then the foot pushes into the hand, and you find some lift here. Breathe. On your exhale, let go of that leg, and then just push back into Balasana, child's pose. Take a couple more breaths right here. This is a fabulous pose of compassion, right? And then walk your hands in towards you. We're going to sit up onto the heels. We're going to bring the knees in towards each other. Your fingertips can find the earth behind you. We're just going to lift the heart, let the head tip back a little bit. Deep breath in. Exhale, just bring the chin down to the collarbone. Inhale, take the gaze up. Exhale, chin down. One more. And then I'm going to sweep my hands forward. So I'm coming into child's pose. I want to lead the legs together because we're creating a vinyasa. So we're going to link a sequence together here. So I have my hands, reaching way out in front of me. I want to lift the body up into table. I'm going to tuck the feet. And as I come down, we're heading toward 8-limb staff pose, if you're familiar with that. So we're bending into the elbows. We're going to drop the chest to the mat and the chin. So if you count how many parts of the body are touching, you should have 8. 2 feet, 2 knees, 2 hands, your chest, and your chin. 8-limb staff pose. From here, we're sliding forward and up into cobra. So release the tuck of the toes. Deep breath in. Exhale, keep the legs together, child's pose. Nice. Now, walk the hands back in towards you, sit up on the heels. Bring the fingers behind. Inhale, lift the heart, tip the head back. Exhale, chin to the heart. Inhale, tip the head. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, pull your way up kind of through table and tuck the toes and then come down on your exhale, 8-limb staff pose. Inhale, Cobra, Bhujangasana. Exhale, Balasana, child's pose. Nice. Walk the hands back. Find the earth behind you. Inhale, lift the heart, take the head back. Exhale, chin to the collarbone. Inhale, lift the head. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, come up through table, tuck the toes. Exhale, 8-limb staff. Inhale, cobra. And take it to Balasana, child's pose. Nice, let's do that one more time. Walk the hands back in, sit on the heels. Inhale, open the heart. Exhale, chin to the collarbone. Inhale, lift the gaze. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, come up through table, tuck the toes. Exhale, 8-limb staff. Inhale, cobra, and let's hold it here. Soften the shoulders. Breathe. Remember, the thighs are down on the floor in cobra. If you've lifted them up, you're in upward facing dog. Nice. Take it to child's pose. One breath here. And then rise into table. So just because we're staying earthy, we're not taking it easy, are we? Send that right leg out behind you. Perfect. Now come onto the fingertips of the right hand. And remember, you make any changes you need to. You don't want to do this? Don't do it. Open up that top hip, so it's kind of a half Ardha Chandrasana. You can either keep the left foot exactly the way it was, or if you sweep it behind you a little bit, you'll have more support. Okay, right arm up. Breathe. Breathe. Perfect. Set the inner edge of that back foot down on the floor. Take that top arm and let it reach overhead. Strong breath. Right arm back to the ceiling. Relift that right leg parallel to the earth. Come back to table. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Return to a neutral spine. Send the left leg out behind you, parallel to the ground. Come onto the fingertips of the left hand. Open up that left hip. Decide what you want to do with that right leg. And then find your balance. Send the left arm up. Good job. Set the inner edge of that left foot down on the earth. Take that top arm, reach it overhead. And then left arm to the ceiling. Relift the left leg. Breathe. And come back to table. Perfect. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Oh, the greyhounds have come to join us. They knew the theme was about them. Come back to table. Tuck the toes. Downward facing dog. So I'm babying one foot here because I have a sprained ankle, so I'm not placing that foot down. You should totally accommodate if you need to in any way for whatever part of the body. Breathe. Perfect. Come forward into plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Find cobra. And then take it to child's pose. Ooh, I have some fun ideas in my head. Stay in child's pose for a moment. Take a breath. All right, that was long enough. Walk your hands in towards you. I'm cracking myself up today because it's just me in this room. Hands behind you. Lift the heart. Take the head back. Exhale, chin down. Inhale, lift the head. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, rise up through table. Tuck the toes. Your exhale, 8-limb staff. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, down dog. Stay for a breath. Round the spine as you come forward into plank. All right, hang on here. We're holding chaturanga. So come on down. Breathe, breathe. Try to get the upper arms parallel to the earth. Send your gaze forward. Nice. Come on down. Cobra. See, that was fun, right? Into child's pose. Stay for a breath. So I wanted to kind of toss the idea out there that all of the people who are working in the hospitals, and I don't just mean the doctors and the nurses, I mean everybody. I mean the policemen, the firemen, the people who are still working in the grocery stores, the people who are working for like Instacart and Amazon and bringing you everything you're ordering. I want to make the connection that these people, whether they know it or not, and they probably don't, are modern day bodhisattvas, right? Their compassion for suffering is so high that they're putting themselves out there. And you might perhaps argue that, well, that's their job. Well, no, not really. I mean, we all follow a career path that we're interested in, and especially if it's, you like to help people, but nobody signs up for potentially getting sick and causing their family to be ill and worse. And so in our practice today, just sending gratitude out to all the modern day bodhisattvas that we are surrounded by. And that might be you. In which case, you should be saying right now to yourself in your inner heart, I thank me. Bring the hands back in towards you, sitting back on the heels. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, chin down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, come through table, tuck the toes. Exhale, 8-limb staff. Find your way into cobra and downward facing dog. We're going to round through the spine, come right back forward into plank. We're holding chaturanga. See, look, we're taking it so easy, we haven't even stood up yet. All right, come on down, hold it, breathe. Keep breathing. And release. Rise into cobra. Whew. Perfect. Take it to table. Realign your hands, get the wrists underneath the shoulders. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. And sit back down on those heels. So if you have a yoga block, you might not even need it, but you could grab it and just kind of set it off by that right hip for a moment. If you don't have one, don't worry, we don't actually need it. Come on up onto the knees. We're going to take the hands to the sacrum, fingers facing up, and then really work those shoulder blades in to get the elbows pulling towards each other. From here, I'm going to push my hips forward, keeping the thighs perpendicular to the floor, and just take an upper back bend in a camel variation. So let's say this is option A, shall we? Come back up to center. Option B is going to be to take the right hand, find that block if you have one, and then we can kind of reach back and you can put the block at whatever height you need it at. And maybe you take the left arm up or reach it behind you overhead. If you don't have a block, we can do half camel by grabbing the heel of the right foot with the right hand. So whatever feels good to you. What you don't want to do in camel is let the hips and thighs pull back. They stay pushing forward. Breathe. And then slowly come back to center. Let's take half camel to the other side, or if you chose to stay in option A, that's all good. When you're ready, and then slowly come back up, come down right into cat pose. We want to round the spine in the opposite direction and hold it right here. Couple more breaths. Neutral spine, tuck the toes. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Big inhale. Really loud exhale. Round your way forward into plank. Perfect. Shift your weight into the left foot. Let's get that right knee to the right elbow. You're still breathing, right? Good job. Send that leg back. It's just touching down for a breath. Right knee to the left elbow. Send that leg back. Hold chaturanga. Drop gently into cobra. Downward facing dog. Deep inhale. Super loud exhale. Come forward into plank. Shift the weight into the left foot. Right foot. Left knee is coming to the left elbow. Oh my gosh, I'm struggling with right and left. Send the left leg back for a touchdown. Left knee to the right elbow. Send the leg back. Big inhale. Chaturanga, hold it. Into cobra. And then, exercising the compassion of our theme, drift your way down into reverse shavasana. Let it all go. And just tap into what you're feeling, sensing. Maybe the heart is racing against your mat. Maybe you feel the breath starting to calm down. Just staying here for a few more breaths. And then we'll get those hands back underneath the shoulders. Slowly make your way up into table. Cross one ankle over the other, and then go ahead and sit back. Perfect. If you have a strap, you might want to use it. If you have a strap, you might not want to use it. Totally up to you. So if you don't have one, please don't worry about it, right? Okay, so I'm going to take my left leg in front of me. My shin is parallel to the front of the mat. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab onto the bottom of that right foot. And so if you do have a strap and you want to use it, go ahead and put that underneath the foot, right? Otherwise, tip back into the sit bones a little, keep the back straight, and then send that leg up. Find your breath. See, before this, you know what I mean by this, right? Who would have thought Facebook would have been the finder of Bodhisattvas? Usually Facebook is a lot of negative postings, which, are still there, but it's kind of nice to see some of the positives, don't you think? Let's draw that leg in a little bit more. Good job. So if you're using a strap, take the strap in the right hand. If you're holding on with your hands, first two fingers of the right hand are going to wrap around the big toe. I'm going to drop my left hand wherever I need it for support. This is just to open the right leg out beyond my left foot and slowly bring it down. Perfect. Yeah. So if you've got the strap, hang on to it. That's fine. Let go of the foot. And then just slowly take a fold forward. And so what I was noticing when I came down into that fold is I allowed my right sit bone to lift up off the mat. And I consciously re-pushed the back of that thigh down. And if you need to come back out of the fold a little bit so that you stay balanced on your mat, you should totally do that. Sometimes it's just a noticing, and then you can just kind of make an adjustment. Okay, come on back up. Turn towards that right leg. You can just drop the strap where it is. One hand on either side of you. Sit up nice and tall. And then come on down into a fold over that right leg. And then make your way back up. We're switching out legs here. Right shin is in front of you. Left leg is bent. Either your strap or your fingers to the bottom of that left foot. Sit up nice and tall. Try to maintain that as you stretch that leg wherever it's willing to go. Compassion, remember. And so in thinking back about that walk I took with Izzo in the fall of, 4 or 5 years ago, I was thinking that what the leaves on the ground really represented were all of the signs around us that we don't actually see. We aren't probably present enough at that moment to see, which made me start thinking about how the walks of today are really different. When I take the dogs out, I have a face mask. I am walking quickly to get it over with. I am constantly crossing the street to avoid people. It is totally different. But how can we find the compassion in a walk like that? How can we find the beauty? We're going to take a hold of that left big toe, or you have your strap. We're going to open that leg out just past the right foot and then go ahead and set it down. Ooh, inhale, sit up nice and tall. Exhale, take a forward fold. Push that left sit bone back down. And then make your way back up I need to shift a little. I'm running into a wall. One hand on either side of you, right one in front, left behind. Sit up tall, turn your heart toward that left leg. Come down into a fold. And so I was thinking that if you are finding your outdoor excursions to kind of be similar, whether you're walking a dog or not, can we at least remind ourselves to be present enough to seek out the beauty, the changing occurrences of nature that are happening all around us that we're really not witnessing as much because we're locked in the house. But if we were to remind ourselves, I think we would notice them, and perhaps a whole lot more. We're slowly coming back up. Straighten out that right leg along the left leg for a moment. You know, we work the glutes. It's only fair that the thighs should get a little attention, don't you think? So when you're ready, go ahead and lift that right leg up. Breathe. Breathe, breathe, breathe. You know, if the leg is shaking, be present to that. Nice. Set the leg down gently. Lift the left leg. And set that leg down as well. Okay. Draw the feet in towards you. We are coming into Ardha Navasana, half boat. So we want to get the shins parallel to the ground. You decide if you're hanging on to the backs of the legs or if arms are reaching out past the legs. If you weren't sure, why don't you start out hanging on to the legs because we're adding on. We don't want to tire out too quickly. Breathe. All right. Is your back straight? Release the arms. Inhale, lengthen this out. We're not touching all the way down. Bring it back in. Lengthen it out. Bring it in. Keep going. Link it with the breath. Come on. This is a fun vinyasa. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. I can hear you guys yelling at me. I think it's words of Shanti and peace. One more. Nice. Set the feet down on the mat. Hug the knees, round out the spine. All right, flip it over into table. You know, if your wrists are getting a little tired, especially from holding chaturanga, you can come onto your knuckles if you'd rather. Or one tactic would be to fold your mat over so that the heel of the wrist is elevated. That way the wrists aren't at 90 degrees. So there's always a way you can work around some of these issues, right? All right. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Hold cat. Walk the legs right next to each other. Walk the hands back so you can sit on your heels. Inhale, pillow wall, take the arms up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Drop the hands behind you. Open up the heart, take the head back. Exhale, chin to the collarbone. Inhale, open. Exhale, Balasana, child's pose. Inhale, rise up through table. Tuck the toes. Exhale, 8-limb staff. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, down dog. Good job. So from here, we're going to take the left knee to the right elbow. So we're coming forward in our plank. And then stretch out that left leg so it's going off to your right. And perhaps you inhale and take that right arm up. You turn onto the inner edge of that back foot. Good job. Take it slowly back to dog. Walk it out. I'm going to move my dog over so I don't hit the wall. When you're ready, right knee to the left elbow. Straighten out that right leg to your left. Drop onto the inner edge of the back foot, left arm up. Come back to dog. Walk it out. Round your way forward into plank. Breathe. Chaturanga, we're not holding it. Inhale, cobra. Hold cobra. Take it back to child's pose. And then go ahead and walk the hands in towards you. We're coming back down onto our back. Kind of thought we'd check in with those glutes and see how they're doing. All right, hug the knees into the heart. When you're ready, set your feet down hip distance apart. Prep for bridge. Perfect. Lift on up. Squeeze the glutes. Deepen that breath. Make sure the knees are right above the ankles and they're pointing up to the ceiling, right? We don't want our knees flailing outward or pulling in towards each other right now. Everything is parallel. Good. Tighten and pulse. And hold it, lift, lift, lift. And come back down. Nice. This time, I want you to pigeon toe the feet. So the toes are facing in towards each other, the heels are a little wider, and then let the knees fall in towards each other. So totally the opposite of what I just told you to do, right? All right. Pull the low back down, squeeze the glutes and lift. Hold it. Find that connection with your breath and pulse. If you're hearing the suffering of your own body, you might consider taking a little break, right? Compassion, compassion, compassion. Lift the hips, squeeze, 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 and come back down. Hug the knees into the heart. Okay, release the legs, roll onto your left side. My arm is stretching out overhead. I'm just resting my left ear on the upper left arm. I'm going to bend that bottom knee and I'm going to bring it forward slightly so it supports me. Flex the right foot. And then as you lift the right leg, this is not a hip opener. So do not take that leg as high as you can go, right? And let that right hip open toward the ceiling. No, no, no. It has to stay closed, facing forward. So up, down. Close your eyes. Keep going. Slow it down. Now, having slowed the movement down, squeeze the right glute. Keep going. Good job. Okay, keep that leg lifted. Breathe. Keep it at its height, but bend the knee and pull the knee in towards your right shoulder. Stretch it out. Bring it in. Link it with your breath. Stretch it out. Bring it in. Expand. Bring it in. Hold it here. Straighten that leg out in front of you. Yeah, this is my least favorite, so if you're cursing me, I get it. And now pulse. Keep going. If you have hip issues, don't do this. Breathe. Good job. Okay, I'm going to keep that leg lifted just for a moment, I promise. Bend that leg Straighten out the bottom leg. Set the right knee down on the ground. Lift your head and your heart a little so you can get the left arm straight out in front of you. Really free that shoulder. And then we'll just lower down, take that right arm behind you. You'll end up in a supine twist. Finally, right? Close your eyes. Deep inhale. Loud exhale. I'm going to let my right foot guide me. So I'm going to take that foot just on the other side of the left leg so that it'll catch me as I come onto my back. And then straighten out that right leg for a moment. Close your eyes. Perfect. Okay, on to your right side. I need to change directions. Send that right arm overhead. Rest the right ear on the upper arm. Bend that bottom leg at the knee forward a little so that you don't tip over. Flex the left foot. Take it up. Remember, we're not opening the hip. And down. Close your eyes. This is a walk in the park. Looking for new spring leaves. Beautiful greens. Keep going. Now squeeze the left glute. Envision that walk. What else do you see that reminds you of spring? In my backyard, there's a lot of squirrels and chipmunks scampering around. Robins are always a good reminder to be present to the changing of the seasons. What else? I've seen on Facebook, some people have already picked like daffodils and stuff. I don't know. I don't think my yard is in bloom yet, but what else do you see in your head? One more time with the leg. Remember, we're holding it up. Keep it at that same height. Pull the knee in to the left shoulder. Stretch the leg out. Pull it in. Stretch it out. You've tuned out the hip, the glute, whatever's tired. You're picturing flowers, right? Birds. Yellow, green leaves. Good job. Let's do that one more time. End with the knee in front of you and then straighten that leg out. Oh, right in front of you, right? Pulse it. Isn't this fabulous? We're really working, but we never stood up. And we won't because you're pretty darn close to Shavasana. All right, keep that leg lifted. Rebend the knee. Straighten out the bottom leg. Left knee to the earth. Phew. Lift your head. Get that right arm straight out in front of you. Free the shoulder. That gives you room to just open the heart up to the ceiling and take your supine twist. And close your eyes. Deep inhale through the nose. Loud exhale through the mouth. And then remember on the other side, we let the top foot guide us. So let it reach gently behind you and help you turn onto your back, straighten out the hips. Straighten out the legs for a moment. Remember, I said almost at Shavasana. Do not tune me out yet. Well, you can if you want. Deep breath in. Hold it. Now exhale. Take the hands, allow them to rest on your abdomen. Feel the breath. Notice where you feel it. And then I very consciously want you to breathe into the bottom hand so that you are forcing the air way down low in the lungs. Honestly, I think this is one of the best yoga tools you have in dealing with what's going on in our world. To keep the lungs strong, you need the breath using the full capacity. So 3-part breathing is a fabulous tool that you have. But for right now, let's just call it 1-part breathing. I just want you to inhale into the abdomen. Feel the abdomen rise up into that hand that's sitting on it. Try not to let the air come up into the chest. Exhale, pull the stomach, belly button down. You might even feel the low back all the way onto your mat. Inhale, just the abdomen. Exhale. Keep going. One more. Perfect. Go ahead and hug the knees back in. We're going to take this into happy baby. So knees go wide, arms come inside the legs to grab onto the inner soles of both feet. And then you try to keep the knees wide and get the shins straight up and down between the ceiling and the floor. And they might not go there, right? That's okay. Feel the weight of the arms helping to open up the hips. You might feel this a little bit in the inner thighs. If you're tired and you just want to stay right here, embracing the stillness, you should do that. Or you could rock back and forth from side to side if you want to. Perfect. So take the first 2 fingers of each hand and grab on to the big toes. From here, let's just go ahead and straighten the legs up towards the ceiling. And remember, they don't have to fully straighten. They might not even partially straighten. That's okay, wherever they end up. Feel the arms gently pulling down, helping you flex the feet. Close your eyes here. If you can't reach your feet, you can grab your strap, or if you can't hang onto your feet and straighten the legs, but you kind of want to straighten the legs, let go with the hands and bring them behind the calves or behind the thighs. A couple more breaths here. And then gently bring the knees back in, give them one last compassionate embrace. And then you are going to stretch out the legs, grab any props you want, and find Shavasana. Remember, Shavasana is corpse pose. It is your opportunity to close your eyes and, well, try not to think. Just let softness enter the thoughts. Perhaps you envision being embraced by a bubble of compassion. What would that look like? What would it feel like? I imagine that would feel unbelievably soft, kind of like laying back in a cloud. And when the weight of your body sinks in, the edges just gently poof up and kind of come around you. Lying in a space of compassion. Offering gratitude to yourself for making it onto your mat. Offering gratitude to the glutes for putting up with the practice on the mat. Just letting go. I'll come back and get you. You'll hear my voice leading you back when it's time. Do you suppose it's possible that we are surrounded by inspiration and enlightenment all the time, but we just aren't seeing it? And so allowing today's theme to be a reminder to stay present, even if you're taking a speed walk through your neighborhood, trying to avoid interaction, can you be present to that? Because the lesson is in the noticing. Keeping your eyes closed, bring your focus to your breath. Allow it to gradually deepen. Grateful for each breath. And then taking your focus into your hands, bringing movement only into the fingers. And then a little squeeze of both fists. Inhale. Exhale, relax the hands. Take your focus down into the feet, wiggle just the toes. And when you're ready, scrunch the toes, just hold that for a moment. Inhale. Exhale, relax the feet. Take a slow, deep breath in. Exhale through pursed lips. And then moving as little as you possibly can. Just roll onto whichever side you want to in a fetal position. And still keeping your eyes closed. Just push your way back up into a seated pose. It doesn't matter which way you end up facing. Deep inhale through the nose. Super loud exhale through the mouth. Perfect. Inhale, take the arms up, bring the palms together, and then exhale them back home to your heart in prayer pose. The light in me bows to the light in you. And when I'm in that place in me, and you're in that place in you, then we become one. Namaste.